a little bit. Let it ride. Hey, yo, Chris, we gon' let it ride, right? You with me? Alright, let's get it. Started out young, breath full of all praise. Sing like I'm one in the morning star, I'm all praise. Judah, I was born to be a higher servant, a natural born ruler, built like I'm palm tripping. When the lights go out, I'm only glistering. Hands on the mic get warm, that's why you trembling. Your knees buckle from the thought of my repercussion. All hail to the most high, he's the greatest. I'ma put my whole soul in the song. I ain't playing, what he gives me I give to you, no plot twist. I'm just speaking truth, man, them devils they hating this. I'm just telling facts, while my vocals be riding the track. Stay in your lane, nigga, stay in your league. Goofy, you ain't even worth 2 black cents to be a proofread.
Lindsay killed this beat, and I bought it.
And I'm talking to you, Amalek, trying to rewrite history, creating all types of madness.
According to Daniel chapter 7, verse 25 in the King James Version, the little horn, which represents an end times ruler, intends to change times and laws. This means altering religious schedules, civil laws, or prophetic events, but only for a limited time, about 3.5 years. However, God limits this power, and the ultimate kingdom belongs to his people,
the Israelites.
AI is at its infancy stage right now. But eventually, a spirit enters, and it integrates all the people who are divided under one mind. It integrates. Like, for instance, we look at Instagram, we look at TikTok, right? We look at all these social media things that have disconnected people from people. So those were what? Those were slow drips of them separating people all together to be initiated into one religion. So they have to desensitize people to slow up interaction we would normally have in the real world to depend on technology first. Right?
Shouts out to the elders of the gathering. Yeah.
But there's a religion behind it. We're going to quantify the Antichrist's empire since Babylon up into our current time, so that our people can understand the world we were born in. Everything is going to become clear. Whether it be religion, whether it be politics, whether it be governance, and or, listen to me clearly, when it comes to what's going on with the Epstein files, families being separated, everything you'll need to know about the Antichrist spirit, the Antichrist and AI. Now, Elder, first and foremost, let's go to John real quick, where it talks about that Antichrist that would come. Let's first start at 1 John 2 and 18. And why am I going into this? Well, we're coming off of Purim. And a lot of people out there don't understand that what came against us even in Persia is no different than the Antichrist spirit. Okay? You have Haman the Agagite, we're in Purim, who got with the king, got upset with Israelites because we refused to bow to their pagan ways. And then he instituted a decree to pay mercenaries to get rid of all of our people in Iran, the Israelites who ran into that area. And this is the plan of the Antichrist altogether, the Antichrist spirit on a global level. I'm going to break it down for you. Elder Lawyer, let's read 1 John 2, verse 18. Let's read that.
Yes, sir. 1 John 2:18. Little children, it is the last time, and as you have heard, that Antichrist shall come. Even now are there many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time.
It says there are what? Many Antichrists. So the Satanists out there, the Jesuits, came up with I would say, a philosophy within Christianity called dispensationalism. And with this satanic theory that came from the Catholics, the Jesuits, instead of us seeing Antichrist that's working from the Vatican within government and identifying that, they would have us look, searching for a prophetic one man in the future, a boogeyman that doesn't exist, while the Antichrist
It's
spirit
the system,
operates
which is the beast
unchecked
system.
by those who believe in God. If you think it's down the line, then there's nothing for you to fight against in the present. They came up with that ideology, that satanic ideology, starting in the 16th century. Came directly from Rome to have us looking for a man that wouldn't exist while the Antichrists are actually working. Many Antichrists. We're going to identify them today. Okay? Paul said that the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Let's go there real quick. In Thessalonians.
Yes, sir. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3.
2 Thessalonians 2, verse 3. Read that for me, please.
Yes, sir. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
Now, even Paul stated, let no man deceive you by any means. Don't forget, in Matthew 24, Christ stated, many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many, except they be a fallen away first. What is that? Well, Paul said, well, Israel must fall according to the prophecies of Daniel's desolation first. We must lose Jerusalem, except we fall by the edge of the sword first, like Christ prophesied, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Now let's see if this is something down the line, or was it working during the time of the disciples? Read the 4th verse.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
So we must do what? We must identify the man of sin, his system. We must identify his system. Because when you identify the system, you'll be able to, and I'm going to show you, you'll be able to see Satan at its nucleus. Satan works within a system. But if they make you think that it's one man that need to come and become a politician, politicians are priests within Satan's model. I'm going to show y'all this. They're a priest, but they're not the man of sin. They're front men. So eventually, it says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Now, who stated he would do this? What prophecy is Paul drawing from out of the Old Testament? Who is Paul saying must be revealed? Well, hold that and go to who? Let's go real quick to Isaiah, the 14th chapter. We're going to get back here, but follow me. Follow me. Because they have everyone chasing ghosts. When you see this video today, you're going to realize that religion, those over religion, those over politics and all of that, have been intentionally deceiving the world. How do we do this now? Because the Christian church will tell you this is a future antichrist. But Paul is telling us something different. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he is God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Now, we're going to pick it up from the 5th verse in a moment. But let's go into the Old Testament. Now, some people might ask, well, Elder, why are you going into the Old Testament? Well, brothers and sisters, keep in mind, when Paul is quoting this or sending this letter at that time, when he sent this letter to the church, the New Testament was not compiled at all. So everything the disciples and Paul was referencing from was the Old Testament. See? Now let's go to Isaiah, the 14th chapter. And we're going to come back to 2 Thessalonians in a second. Follow me. Follow me here. Right? Isaiah 14. Now, the lawyer, let's read the 12th verse.
Yes, sir. Isaiah 14, verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?
How did you fall from grace, Lucifer? Read.
How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?
How are you now living on earth's terrain? Read.
For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
So who said that they would sit in the temple of God? According to prophecy, folks. Huh? Who is Paul talking about? Lucifer. Lucifer is who Paul is referencing. See how simple that it was there the whole time. I said, you know what? I'm going to slow walk this so y'all can see it. It was there the whole time. So he said that he would go to the sides of the north. I will do what?
I will ascend above the heights of the clouds.
I will go to the heights of the cloud. Tower of Babel, anyone? NASA, anyone? The Space Force in Israel, anyone? You see the plan over and over again? I will be what?
I will be like the Most High.
I will be like the Most High, but yet, read.
Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit.
Because it tells us in Revelations, the 20th chapter, that when Christ returns, he binds Satan for that 1,000-year reign. We're gonna go into that the week after next, as we embark on the lesson, brothers and sisters. Not the week after the next, 2 weeks, because we're gonna go this week. We're gonna deal with the 4 beasts of Daniel. The following week, we're going to deal with the round table discussion. The round table discussion. Man on one side and woman on the other. Right? How can we come together before the judgment? And then we're going into, that's right, life after Armageddon. That there's hope at the end of all this. So as we teach this, brothers and sisters, know that this is not a doom and gloom story. It's a revelation that leads to paradise, to peace finally on earth for God's people. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. Now, I'm not going to deal in any Jewish fables. We're not going to dive into allegories. We're not going to dive into metaphors or make it parabolic. You have some people talking about Lucifer is the white man. Total nonsense. Total nonsense, okay? And we're going to prove that in a moment. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. Read on, and that's when Christ binds him upon his return in hell for a 1,000-year span before he's loosed again.
They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms?
Is this the what?
Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms?
There go your man of sin Paul is talking about right there. Where was he before he took full dominion over this earth through Adam's fall? Elder Lawyer, let's go to the book of Ezekiel. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel, the 28th chapter.
Isaiah 28, verse 1. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith the Lord God, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am God.
I am what?
I am God.
I am God, and I do what?
I sit in the seat of God.
I sit in the seat of God. See what Paul is referencing? When it says the prince of Tyrus or the king of Tyrus, it's not speaking of the king or prince at that time. It's speaking of a principality over empire. We're going to show you the model of that principality in a moment. But this is whom Paul is referencing. Because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am God, I sit in the seat of God, read.
In the midst of the seas.
Read.
Yet thou art a man,
Yet
and
thou
not God.
art a man, which means this spirit has been relegated to this terrain. That's right, folks. It's the Kabbalah Lord, the architect. I'm going to show y'all something in a moment. Yet thou art a man, read.
And not God.
And not God, read.
Though thou set thine heart as the heart of God.
Though thou set thy heart as the heart of God. So he wished to do what? He wished to sit in the minds of the people and have the whole earth worship him like we were supposed to worship the true and living God. Now, what does this particular entity carry that makes him really attractive to the elite, who think they are the elite, but really they're the bottom of the bottom? What do he possess? Read the 3rd verse.
Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee.
And this is what happens for those who would bow to this power. In exchange, he gives knowledge. He gives information based on his experiences since the time he was created. And that's more information on this earth taught through him and those who would follow him. That's more information that he gives them directly than anybody can get out of a what? A normal Christian or any religious setting over the nations. He has information from the beginning of creation before earth. And how many elites will sell their soul just to get some insight of what that is and how to utilize that as a form of control and power over the world? See? So his wisdom is the bait. Now, of course, one thing he recognized in the heavens, he recognized as a morning star that every morning the sons of God would come before the Almighty with a song. And with the song, it keeps all of the heavenly body in harmony with the Most High. See? Music. He's seen the power of that from the heavens. He's seen that power, that driving force that kept the angelic beings unified. All right? Where were you? Let's get that, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Job 38:4.
Job 38:4, and we're going to go back to the book of Ezekiel. Hold on, let me get it here. Job 38, verse 4.
Christ.
Let's read that
as well.
Yes, sir. Job 38:4. Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth?
Okay, let me grab that out of so they can see it. Where was thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? So this was before earth, folks. Read.
Declare if thou hast understanding.
Declare if thou have understanding. Right? Read it all the way through.
Verse 5. Who have laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest, or who have stretched the line upon it?
The firmament.
Whereupon are
the firmament. Read.
Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened, or who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy.
So before earth, there was a what? A choir before the Almighty, named, entitled, that's right, the morning stars.
Judah Cypher.
And they would sing every morning before the Almighty, and that music alone kept one message. And what? It unified the angelic forces in one praise towards the Most High. wiser than Daniel, perfect in beauty. So amongst the heavenly ranks, he was the most decorated. Read.
Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God.
And this is how we know it's not talking about a king or prince during the time of Ezekiel. Because this particular principality was in the Garden of Eden. Samael, the devil, the head Satan. Well, that's what he was turned to anyway. So this proves right here in Ezekiel, Ezekiel isn't talking about anything earthy here. He's identifying the heavenly realm. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. He was the serpent. Read.
Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and
Dark Matter
gold.
Music Gang. Yeah, yeah.